This book, 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami, took me from April to 2 days ago to finish. And really a 3-minute video on TikTok is not going to be able to encompass all my thoughts and feelings about this book, but I'm going to give some highlights. Do you see these tabs? The vast majority of these tabs are times where he decides to describe a woman's body. And the majority of times he describes women's bodies are really weird times to describe a woman's body. Like, really, who decides when they're about to be on the run from a killer organization decides to think, I think my boobs, I'm gonna miss them. They're small, but I like them. Guaranteed there's one person out there who's like, oh, me? You're a liar. And then there's the romance that is in this book. That's not really a romance, because I don't even know why these two characters like each other. And you could, people could say, well, they're destined to be together, Christina. They had a connection when they were 10. Which, by the way, their connection was when they were 10, and they didn't see each other again until they're, close to their 30s in this book. So the feelings that they had for each other of love were all based around when they were 10. And if that's not weird to you, you got nothing. Because their feelings were never just oh, I had this crush, and that's it. No, it was full I think about this person in a sexual way from my memories of when they were 10. And granted, the author does his best to be he didn't imagine her as a 10-year-old, or she didn't imagine him as a 10-year-old when she was thinking these thoughts about him, or his thoughts about her. But still, it's kind of weird. And don't even get me started on the amount of times a 30-year-old man, or a close to 30-year-old man, was thinking about a 17-year-old in a sexual way. And you may be thinking, well, Chrissy, is there any parts about this book that you did like? Yes. I like the foreshadowing, and also some of the ambiance that Haruki Murakami sets, especially when he had the NHK, a bill collector, pounding on people's doors, and you didn't know if it was an actual bill collector or if it was a guy who was coming to kill the characters he was banging the door on. But all the things that I liked, the fantastical elements, I thought were pretty interesting, with the exception of one thing that I'm not going to say because it's going to spoil the whole thing. But the ambiance, sometimes the excellent scene setting that was done, and all the other plot elements that made this a pretty interesting read were marred by all the things I said before, and marred by the ending as well. When I finished this book, I almost drop-kicked it, because that ending, what was that? I went into this book really wanting to like it as well, and there are parts that I did like, but just so you know, he is terrible at writing women, and there is a lot of physical intimacy that's used as a plot device, and used in a way that's really uncomfortable. I rage read most of it.